why is it important to remain vigilant when my kid SOs and earns their way to second stage? Why is it important? So SO, for the people that are on the Zoom call, means graduate from the outpatient program. Why is it important to remain vigilant when my kid graduates from outpatient and earns their way into the aftercare group? Yeah, hop in there.
I think one reason why is because all the work that I did in outpatient and going to the meetings and satellite and building relationships and working with the sponsor. Is it okay? Like over, the year and a half or however long I was in outpatient, 2 years, only really quieted like the real issues that I was facing when I first got in Cornerstone and made them more bearable, I guess. And like I still had those things coming out of outpatient, I was still very capable of sabotaging everything that I had earned up until that point. And I think the best thing for me was like having that aftercare session and having both of my parents there to like ask for accountability and for Kirk, the counselor, to kind of like help us. It was either you or Lily. Have a counselor there to help us come up with an aftercare plan for me to follow and for my parents to, look back on and everything like that. I think honestly at that point, like I had done a lot of work, but it was very easy for me to become egotistical and act like I had everything down by that point. I saw all these winners and dudes SO before me, and it was something that I had always wanted to do, and just like that, I could, start lying to myself and, act like I got mine, and that would just affect the way that I showed up around the group and all the work that I was, doing for myself. So I think having my parents there as backup and people that were holding me accountable on top of that throughout my whole time in Cornerstone, years after I SO'd and got into second stage, was extremely helpful for me.
So I'll just add, so the question was, why is it important for me to remain vigilant when my kid graduates from treatment and earns their way into aftercare? So this exposes the denial piece again, all right? And the denial piece that all of us suffer from about how long it really takes to get stable when you're dealing with an addiction issue or a mental health issue. Years. It's years and years and years. 5 years is kind of the mark that you want to see of sustained abstinence with attending meetings and being accountable to something. That's early recovery, is the first 5 years. And so what the tendency is for all of us is when the acute pain or crisis has passed, is to take our foot off the gas, all right, and go and to back up. And that's a failure of leadership. It's a failure of leadership from the parent perspective. Okay, it's a failure, and it's like I said, failure's not a dirty word here with me. It's like I have to be able to own. I've failed a lot professionally. I've failed a lot in building things, running groups, working with clients. Failure is part of the process, but it is a failure of leadership. Parents are the leaders of the family. And to fall back when the acute pain goes away, that's a huge thing that I watch happen in families year after year after year. And they take their foot off the gas and they just kind of want to get back to normal. And you kind of teach your child that if they placate you a little bit, that, it's cool. And sometimes that works out and they mature and they kind of go on and have a fairly normal life or whatever. And oftentimes it doesn't. And, Brenda and I, will go to their funeral 10 years later. So, you got anything to add?
No.
Question? You don't have to.
Just finished, you're not.
Here, hey,
Basically.
out loud.
They're not finished with the recovery, so you have to keep working.